Let me start with a question that'll probably make most men squirm. What if I told you that words, just words, can make a woman feel more aroused than physical touch ever could? Sounds wild, right? But here's the twist most guys never figure out. Attraction isn't just physical, it's psychological. And when you know how to tap into the mind, you unlock a level of desire that's way deeper than what surface-level flirting ever touches. Now, I'm not talking about cheesy pickup lines or trying to sound like a wannabe Casanova. That stuff, it might get you a chuckle or a fake smile if you're lucky. But the real magic, the stuff that makes her lean in, dilate her pupils and feel that tingle in her core, that's born from language that hits her subconscious like a lightning bolt. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men talk to women the way they talk to their buddies. Logical, flat, safe. But the men who know how to stimulate a woman's imagination, who know how to say things that bypass logic and tap directly into her emotional and sensual brain, those are the men she can't stop thinking about. Today, we're going to break down exactly how that works. I'll reveal 3 hypnotic phrases, yes, real phrases that stir her mind, create chemistry, and yes, make her wet, without ever crossing into vulgar territory. These phrases work because they exploit a little-known psychological phenomenon that makes desire feel inevitable, even if she doesn't fully understand why she's feeling it. Stick with me, because once you understand the psychology behind these phrases and how to use them naturally in conversation, you'll start to notice subtle shifts in how women react to you, almost like you've unlocked a cheat code. Let's dive in. Before we dive into the actual phrases, let's unpack why they work, because this isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding the unspoken language of desire. Here's the first principle you need to burn into your brain. For women, arousal starts in the mind. Unlike men, whose attraction is often triggered by visual stimuli, women are wired to respond to psychological cues, subtle signals that speak to status, confidence, imagination, and emotional safety. This is backed by neuroscience. A study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that when women were exposed to erotic audio stories, their brains showed significantly more activity in regions associated with emotion, imagination, and language processing compared to visual stimuli. In other words, what she hears can arouse her more deeply than what she sees. That's why these hypnotic phrases are so powerful. They bypass the surface-level interaction and tap directly into her emotional core, activating desire by making her feel rather than just observe. And when you stimulate that emotional engine, you create a type of attraction that lingers. It sticks with her. It replays in her mind when she's alone. Let's take this deeper. There's a psychological concept called embedded commands. This comes from NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and it refers to phrases hidden inside normal speech that subtly influence the subconscious mind. You've probably heard them used in marketing all the time. Phrases like, "You're starting to realize," "Imagine if," "You'll notice yourself feeling." These aren't just words. They're mental triggers that slip past the conscious brain and start shaping emotional responses. And yes, when used the right way, they can trigger arousal, intimacy, and even obsession. But here's the caveat. It only works if you're congruent. You can't just memorize phrases and spit them out like a robot. The tone of your voice, your eye contact, your body language, it all has to be aligned. Otherwise, she'll sense the incongruence, and the effect disappears. Also, we're not just talking about sexual arousal here. These phrases spark emotional arousal, which is often the gateway to physical attraction. Emotional arousal includes feelings like curiosity, excitement, anticipation, and even playful confusion. When a woman feels these things around you, she starts associating those emotional highs with your presence. And this right here is what makes these phrases so hypnotic. They're not magic spells. They're invitations into an emotional space where attraction naturally grows. Let me give you a simple analogy. Think of her desire like a fire. Most men are running around with matches, hoping one spark lights something. But you're about to walk in with a blowtorch because you understand the fuel source behind the flame. And now that you see the psychology behind it, we're ready to get practical. Let's move into the first hypnotic phrase and why it works like a charm. Let me know when you're ready to proceed to core explanation. Part 1. All right, let's talk about the first hypnotic phrase. But before I drop it on you, I want you to understand the frame it operates within. Because how you deliver these words is just as important as the words themselves. The phrase is, "I wonder what it would feel like if you let go around me." Let that sink in for a second. It's soft, it's open-ended, it doesn't demand, it invites, and yet, it carries an undercurrent of sensual tension that hits her subconscious like a pulse. Let's break this down. I wonder. This is a disarming opener. It doesn't sound like a pickup line, it's introspective. It suggests you're curious, not needy. And that subtle curiosity creates a sense of mystery, which is one of the most underrated aphrodisiacs. You're not telling her what to do, you're musing. And that alone shifts the dynamic. You go from the guy trying to impress her to the guy she's trying to figure out what it would feel like. Now you're speaking in the language of emotion. You're guiding her away from logic and into feeling. And here's the trick. The moment someone starts imagining a feeling, their brain starts to simulate that experience. It's like a mental rehearsal. Even if she's just playing along, her nervous system is already responding. Her body starts preparing for a scenario she hasn't even fully realized she's considering. If you let go around me. This is where the real hypnotic power lies. You're subtly framing you as the space where she can release control. In a world where women are constantly expected to be composed, guarded, and calculating, this phrase creates a psychological contrast. You become the exception. The man she can exhale around. This isn't just about intimacy, it's about permission. You're not telling her to let go. You're giving her the option. And that sense of freedom wrapped in subtle challenge, it's irresistible. It's also worth noting, the word let go can mean 1,000 things, emotionally, physically, sexually. You never specify, and that's the beauty. Ambiguity creates interpretation, and interpretation creates imagination. And imagination, my friend, is where seduction lives. Let's look at a quick example of how this can be used in a natural conversation. You're talking about stress. Maybe she's sharing how exhausted she feels juggling work, life, whatever. You lean in slightly, slow your voice down and say, I wonder what it would feel like if you just let go around me. Then pause. Let it breathe. Let her sit in the silence. That's when the magic happens. Not in your words, but in what her mind does with them. If she giggles nervously or looks away, she felt it. If she raises her eyebrow and smirks, she felt it. That moment of inner conflict. Wait, what did he mean by that? That's the door cracking open. Remember, you're not being vulgar. You're not being explicit. You're planting a seed and nature does the rest. We're only getting warmed up. The second phrase we're about to dive into, it plays with power dynamics in a way that flips the usual script and makes her feel like she's chasing you. Let me know when you're ready to continue to core explanation. Part 2. Now that you've got the first phrase in your arsenal, let's unlock the second one. Because this one, it flips the script. It makes her feel like she's the one being drawn in, without even realizing how or why. Here it is. There's something about you that's dangerous, but in a way I kind of like. Boom. It's seductive, it's playful, and most importantly, it reverses the usual power dynamic. Let's unpack why this works like dynamite. There's something about you. This phrase immediately personalizes your attention. It signals that you're not just attracted to how she looks. You're tuned into something beneath the surface. This alone sets you apart from 90% of men who default to generic compliments. And here's the kicker. You don't specify what that something is. That ambiguity forces her to fill in the blanks herself. She starts wondering, what does he see in me? That curiosity pulls her deeper into your orbit. Oh, that's dangerous. Now you've introduced tension. You're labeling her energy as something with edge, something unpredictable. And humans are hardwired to crave novelty and risk in controlled doses, especially when it comes to attraction. By calling her dangerous, you're teasing the idea that she's not entirely safe, that she can stir things in you, that she could throw you off balance. And here's the psychology. When you assign danger to a person, you also imply that they have power. But by acknowledging that power and still staying calm, you show that you have control. That balance between respect and grounded confidence, it's intoxicating. But in a way I kind of like. This softens the edge. It shows that even though she has this danger in her, you're not afraid of it. You're drawn to it. You're the type of man who isn't intimidated by feminine intensity. You embrace it. This last part is subtle, but crucial, because women often feel like their emotions depth or intensity can be too much for most men. So when you send the signal that her wild doesn't scare you, in fact you're into it, she feels seen, accepted, safe, and paradoxically, that's what makes her feel more open, more receptive. Here's a real-world scenario where this line fits like a glove. Maybe she's challenging you a little, teasing you, testing your frame. Most men would get defensive or try to win the exchange, but not you. Instead, you smirk and say, "You know, there's something about you that's dangerous, but in a way I kind of like." Then you pause, smile. Let the silence do the heavy lifting. What you've just done is inject mystery, approval, and challenge all in one sentence. You've flirted without pandering, complimented without simping, and created tension without being overtly sexual. That's elite-level communication. Let's not forget the bigger picture here. These phrases work because they speak an emotional code. They activate her subconscious mind. They stimulate fantasy, tension, and curiosity. But most of all, they position you as someone different, someone who gets it. Now, are you ready for the final phrase? This one's bold, it's intimate, and when used correctly, it creates a moment she won't forget, because it makes her feel seen in a way that's incredibly rare. Let me know when you're ready for the practical application section, where we'll break that third phrase down and show you how to actually use these in the wild. Alright, now we enter the part most guys completely miss. You've got two powerful phrases already, but words alone, they're not magic spells. Delivery is the spell, and your state, your timing, and your intent. That's what makes these phrases land with hypnotic impact. But before we break that down, let me give you the third and final phrase. It's crazy how easy it is to connect with you, like I've known you forever. Now you might be thinking, that sounds kind of soft. Exactly, that's the point. This phrase doesn't stimulate her body, it opens her heart. And once a woman feels emotionally connected to you, her mind starts to trust you. And when trust enters the picture, her guard comes down, her curiosity turns to craving. Let's break this one apart. It's crazy how easy it is to connect with you. This hits her in a place where most men never reach. Why? Because it acknowledges something rare, emotional synchronicity. You're signaling that you're not trying to impress her. You're genuinely vibing with her. That puts you in a different league. Women are starved for real emotional connection. And when you say this, it creates the illusion, and often the reality of something meaningful unfolding fast, which psychologically mimics what falling in love feels like I've known you forever. This is a subtle trick. It taps into what psychologists call instant intimacy, that magical sense of déjà vu connection that feels destined or fated. Whether she buys into soulmates or not, her brain wants to believe in that feeling. It gives her the freedom to lean in without guilt or fear. And here's what's wild. When you plant that suggestion, her subconscious starts looking for evidence it's true. She starts noticing little things that align, making her more open to emotional bonding. And yes, physical chemistry. So how do you use these phrases in the real world? Let's map it out. Step 1. Set the stage. These aren't pickup lines to throw around at a bar. They shine in moments of connection. So, create that space. It could be while you're sharing a story, laughing over something stupid, or even during a moment of silence that feels oddly comfortable. You're not trying to be slick. You're being present. Step 2. Calibrate your delivery. Your voice should be low, slow, and intentional. Don't rush. Don't lean forward too eagerly. Be grounded. Make her lean into you, into the vibe, the tension, the mystery. Say it like you almost didn't mean to, like you're discovering the words at the same time she is. Example, you're on a walk, laughing about something random, and there's a brief pause. You glance over and say, almost to yourself, "It's crazy how easy it is to connect with you, like I've known you forever." Then, silence. Let it linger. She'll either deflect, smile shyly, or open up. Whatever she does, it means she felt it. That's your green light to keep the emotional flow going. Bonus tip. Stack these phrases used alone. Each phrase is powerful. Used together in the right progression, they create an emotional roller coaster that builds desire, tension, and intimacy. Try this sequence across a single interaction. Start with, "There's something about you that's dangerous," to create playful intrigue. Later drop, "I wonder what it would feel like if you let go around me," to open up sensual possibility. Then close with, "It's crazy how easy it is to connect with you," to seal the emotional connection. Each phrase builds a layer. Each moment amplifies her attraction. And each time you're not chasing her, you're pulling her into your world. Let me know when you're ready for the conclusion. We'll pull all of this together and leave your audience with one final unforgettable challenge. So now you've got it. 3 hypnotic phrases that don't rely on vulgarity or shallow compliments, but on depth, timing, and psychological power. Let's recap real quick. I wonder what it would feel like if you let go around me. This taps into her hidden desire to be seen, held, and liberated. There's something about you that's dangerous, but in a way I kind of like. This flips the script and paints her as captivatingly unpredictable. And you, the man unshaken by her fire. It's crazy how easy it is to connect with you, like I've known you forever. This one, it unlocks her heart. It bypasses her filter. It builds a bridge straight into emotional intimacy. But here's the truth most men still won't grasp. It's not just what you say, it's who you are when you say it. If your words are built on anxiety, neediness, or manipulation, they'll fall flat. But if they come from grounded confidence, genuine curiosity, and emotional intelligence, they become unforgettable. Women don't just remember what you said, they remember how you made them feel. And when you master this level of communication, you no longer have to try to be attractive, you simply are. Now, here's my challenge for you. Over the next few days, don't just memorize these phrases. Live them, feel into them, use them with authenticity, test them with presence, and watch what happens, not just in her but in you. Because once you start expressing yourself this way, you stop being a guy trying to impress women and become the man they can't stop thinking about. If this hit home for you, drop a comment below. I'm done playing small. Let's build a tribe of high-awareness men who speak with clarity, move with intention, and lead with power. Don't forget to hit subscribe, because we're just getting started. More real talk, more hidden psychology, and more unfiltered truths about love, attraction, and becoming the kind of man this world desperately needs. Until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, and stay dangerous.